here's what's bothering me now. This is within the last week. Is New York is where you're really seeing it right now. Is they are launching this vaccine passport. This idea that you need a passport to get into New York.
Is this a proposal or something they're doing?
I mean, they're working on it. It's something that they're making. They're making an app. You'd have to pull up a code on your cell phone to prove you've been vaccinated. Which, first of all, anyone who's under 40 doesn't really need to get vaccinated. At least it should be completely elective. There's no justification for requiring anyone under 40 or even under 50 to get vaccinated. They're not in danger of it, and especially kids are not in danger of spreading it. So here's USA Today. This new app, the Excelsior Pass, is for any events that you can go to increase or to even increase your size of private gathering. So it's to control even things you do in private. It says right here the size of a wedding party or another catered event. You can't do unless you are using this app and showing that everyone's been vaccinated. So what I wonder is, at what point do you go, okay, is this really being done for the benefit and the health and the good of people, or is this being done as a means to control people? Is this something being taken advantage of as a means to control people?
Is there a second or hidden agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I believe there is. And, at some point you go, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, and then sometimes you find out the conspiracy theorists were right.
I think, first of all, just as far as a vaccine passport, I'm not opposed so much as to having a record of inoculations or something that I can show what I have when I'm traveling internationally. Because there are, with many countries, requirements.
Yeah.
When I've traveled to Asia, when I've traveled to Africa, there have been things there are times I've needed to take documents to show that, I had my hepatitis series or different things. And that's okay. It would be nice actually to have that in a reasonable, easy to present document, or something that could be scanned and just show the data. I don't mind that. We're talking more about domestic stuff here, aren't we?
I don't mind it.
We're talking about state to state and these kind of things. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, it is one of the traditional appeals of America.
Then I will live in Montana. And I will marry a round American woman and raise rabbits. And she will cook them for me. And I will have a pickup truck. Or possibly even a recreational vehicle. And drive from state to state. Do they let you do that?
Yes.
No papers?
No papers. State to state.
America has free states. You can go from state to state.
And all you do is notice there's a sign that says you're in a new state.
Yeah, you don't have to do this.
Or sometimes the roads get better or worse.
There's free movement between states. I mean, the idea is that if we get ticked enough at Colorado, we could move to Wyoming. Mm-hmm. We could move to Texas. We could move to Florida. That's why all the Californias moved to Colorado.
And now look at us.
And now people are thinking of leaving Colorado. Yeah. But that's the point. You have the freedom to do that, and there shouldn't be ever a restriction. Let's say I want to move to New York.
Well, first of all, you and I are going to have a long conversation about that.
I don't want to move to New York.
Okay.
Theoretically, I want to move to New York. And New York, are they going to get to a point where they can deny me moving to their state?
I don't know.
Is there any reason beyond, beyond a I don't even know if there would be any criminal reason that unless you're already moving around illegally,
Unless it becomes criminal not to have a vaccine.
But now you're taking something that, well, it shouldn't be criminal.
I understand that, but I'm saying it would have to become criminal.
Yeah, I mean that's a massive freedom issue.
Yes, it is.
And I don't even see. I feel like this is something that's going to hit the Supreme Court's doorsteps
I think so too.
immediately.
I think, for me, when you mentioned a little earlier that this would be something you'd want to talk about, I pondered it for a little bit. And the idea of where might this lead is really a big part of this conversation. I mean, if we could isolate it, okay, and maybe even put a time frame on it with assurances it'll go away. The problem is a lot of times Band-Aids or bandages to a problem become permanent. They stay and they morph. I've seen good ideas shot down because someone will say, I don't like where this might lead. Because sometimes you do need to not worry so much about where it might lead. That's usually people who are protecting the status quo. That's usually people who are saying this could lead to change that I don't like, so let's not go there. Now then, there's the other side of that. I'm worried about where this might lead because of legitimate concerns of the door being open to other maneuverings and possibilities, which is more what you're talking about. This is the first step towards a broader intrusion, a broader invasion of personal rights. Now, see, I'm with you in that. To me, I would find it extremely. It would shake me to the core if I had to present papers when I cross the state line.
To go state lines. We're not talking. Yeah, we're not
And
talking
there's still,
international.
And there's
lines,
still something
state
very
lines.
arbitrary about the state line. Now you're moving from one jurisdiction to another in the sense of who manages the roads, whether you pay taxes or not, who represents you in Washington, who represents you in your state capital. But the essence of the culture and the country remains the same. Mm-hmm. You go from one state to the next. You don't lose your radio station you were listening to. You don't, the roads may change a little bit because you got different highway departments now taking care of them. Could be better, could be worse. But the whole beauty of it is you just, your kids are asleep in the back seat and you wake up and they ask you, what state are you in?
Yeah, the beauty of it is, though, that
it's freedom.
You're free to go.
Sure.
You're free to go if you want. And whatever changes happen, that's
it's the essence of a republic.
But I mean, are we going to hit a point where if, let's say, I wanted to travel to, up to Montana,
Mm-hmm.
and at every state line, I see, I know you say you don't like as much anymore now that you're older. I still like driving through the night, especially with little kids.
I love driving through the night. I just can't do it as well as I used to.
But especially little kids, 3 little kids in the back. I like them to be able to sleep while I'm driving. So what now? Is it going to get to a point where at every state line we have to stop and I have to show them passports and I have to roll down the windows and hope they don't wake the kids up as they're taking their temperatures and they're logging? And is there going to be checkpoints?
What would be
at
interesting
every point?
to me,
Which now that is a reach from what we're talking about here, but is it unreasonable to say, could this go there?
I would like to believe that there are enough people, not just right of center, but even left of center, who would say, we can't go there. And quite frankly, I don't understand the mentality of the state line. It's just an arbitrary line, quite frankly.
Well, like you said, it's just a change in jurisdiction, really.
It's an arbitrary line that says, you keep your virus conditions on that side, we'll keep ours on this side. But, I don't know what the similarities is between states, but I have a feeling as time continues to go by, the line is going to flatten even more to where most states are going to be in similar situations as far as numbers go. The percentages of tests that are coming back positive, the continuing waning of the virus as the vaccines get done. I think it's going to become kind of a national number eventually, because that's just going to be the nature of what this thing does, I would think. And so what's the point? To me, it's what's the point?
Well, the question is...
You're saying the point is not what it appears to be.
I'm saying that the point doesn't actually have any value in the good of the people or the health of
No,
the people.
you're saying that the point is something that's not being publicized.
The
That there's a second point that is not being addressed,
Well,
and that is
let's look at a couple things. First of all, you've got now this whole idea of having passports that have to be checked everywhere you go. Now, tell me, this isn't true. One of the first, if you want to get a stronger control over your society, wouldn't it be pretty essential to be able to track the people?